where you want to go. It's what you give up to get there. What have you given up to get where you are that people in the room might be surprised to know?
It reminds me of a statement that somebody asked Catherine Kuhlman. Do y'all know who Catherine Kuhlman is? Catherine Kuhlman was a woman preacher when women preachers weren't cool. And she was preaching in California, and to some people, they're still not cool. And she was preaching in California and preaching for Full Gospel Businessmen Association. She was dramatic. Oh, my God, look at him walking. The young man is walking. Anyway, okay. So, oh, come on. It's the dramatic side of me. I do movies, so, what do you expect? So they asked her how much did it cost to be who she was. And she laughed. She said, simply everything, darling. Simply everything. That was so true. When you start talking about, I was walking through the airport when my ministry first started to explode. I was so distracted by the explosion that I didn't see the damage. An old preacher was coming through the airport in Charlotte. Yeah, it just dawned on me within Charlotte as you was there. When you live in West Virginia, if you wanted to go to heaven, you either had to go through Pittsburgh or Charlotte. And I was in the Charlotte airport, and this old bishop walked up to me and he looked at me and he shook his head. He said, he said, you've lost something. And I thought, what that was? He said, you've lost something that you'll never be able to regain. I said, what is that? He said, normalcy. Wow. It took me about 5 years to unpack that simple conversation. Wow. That you become a target by people who have never met you. That they would say the most hideous things about you. That your children would suffer from the things they wrote about you, trying to get their points up in their Nielsen ratings up, that they would eat you for dinner and save the story until sweeps month and drop it because you had a big audience so that they could get big ratings and that my kids would have to grow up in the middle of all of that. I was distracted by the explosion, but I would come to see the damage. I would see it in the tears of my children, the pregnancy of my daughter, the pains of my son, holding my wife in tears. And I would hold her in tears and preach faith and go home and lay down in a bed of fear. I said, God, where have you taken me? I'm telling you this, this is won't cost you, and I'm throwing it in free tonight. Tonight on Now I'm gonna tell y'all, nobody else can hear this, just us, y'all gonna keep it. I almost quit. I'm a country boy, I'm from West Virginia. I don't know nothing about this big time stuff. I never even asked to be big. I wanted to be effective, not famous. Famous is the consequences of being effective. I didn't know nothing about being famous and I didn't like it. And so there I was, and when you first knew, everybody attacks you first and figures you out later. Because though we say you're innocent until proven guilty, the reality is you're really guilty till proven innocent. I didn't know that then, and I was young, upstart. You have to understand that you're looking at a 60-year-old man, but you're talking about something that's happening to a guy in his late 20s with little kids. And the first time I was in the Washington Post, the article was so vicious it made me nauseous. I was so shocked that you could say that stuff about somebody you didn't even know based on assumptions and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They piece it all together, and you don't get to say anything back. So I decided I don't want this. I was preaching for Pastor Bishop Donnie Mears, and nobody knew it because preachers can override their feelings and function. I preached, the place was on fire, but inside I want to quit. I told God, I'm through with this. I'm not going through this. I don't need this. I don't need that. I'm a guy who likes to go get his own chicken wings. I don't have to have all of that stuff to be happy. Because I wasn't raised with it. I can make it. You can throw me in an apartment
Right.
and give me just a little skillet, a cast iron skillet. You know what I'm talking about? And some seasoned salt and stuff and a couple of wings. I will run you out of here. I will run you out. Okay. So I thought, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this because I don't need this and I didn't ask for this. I'm only doing this because of what happened in my life, of the circumstances that happened in my life. He put me on stage. I didn't ask for it. And when I saw how much it cost, I thought, you can have that right back here. You have that right back up in here. I don't need it. So I was mad inside and I was hurt. And I stayed up in the fellowship with the pastors because I didn't want to go back to my room and sulk in my own sorrows. And they said, there's a lady downstairs waiting to see you. The service was over and the fellowship was over and the pastors were starting to leave. I was trying to outwait her. I thought she'd give up and leave. And when I finally came down the steps, she was there. And she was just a willowy bit of a woman. And she said, Bishop Jakes, she said, I've been in the hospital. She said, I was pregnant in my fallopian tubes, and the baby died in my tubes, and I was carrying around a dead baby, and the toxicity from the baby almost killed me. Wow. And she said, the only thing that kept me alive was hearing you preach. She said, if you hadn't been preaching to me every day, I swear I would have died. And then she looked at me and she said, it's for us. It's not for them. It's for us. It hit me so hard. I didn't even get her name. I got in the car and cried all the way back to my room because she reminded me why I was there.